$10 million.
2 years ago, on a road trip in California, I noticed how expensive was the dwelling prices compared to, for example, Southern Europe. Therefore, I think it's a good opportunity to understand the San Francisco housing market by analyzing the market in the last decade, with also an analysis of the main driver of the demand and the supply, as well as important information to understand the market, not to mention policies to make housing affordable. And finally, we will recommend to invest or not, and if it's profitable. It's not a surprise for anyone, but San Francisco is known for its famous Silicon Valley, but also for their dwelling prices. Indeed, the median listing price per square feet has decreased from $950 in 2015 to $970 in 2025, while in the rest of America it has increased from $117 to $226 in 2025. This huge difference can also be seen in rent prices. In fact, the average prices for an apartment for renting is 2 times higher in San Francisco than in the rest of America. At first sight, this difference, which can be explained by the fact that the supply is almost non-existent in San Francisco, is not as relevant as it's supposed to be, because the median salary in San Francisco is $125,000, while in the rest of America it's only $83,000, which means that San Francisco population can afford to pay more.
As he said, supply is highly inelastic as it's difficult and slow to build new housing due to land limits and strict zoning. Demand is also very inelastic since people must live near the job centers. So when demand rises, prices surge quickly. For instance, the Case-Shiller Home Price Index for San Francisco was about 350 in early 2025 compared to 220 at the end of 2015, which represents a decrease of 60%. Now let's talk about the real estate in San Francisco that is treated as a financial asset. So the median owner-occupied housing value in San Francisco was about $1.3 million according to 2023 ACS data. The average rent is around $3,600 a month as of October 2025, and meanwhile, thousands of short-term rental listings via Airbnb have historically reduced long-term rental supply. Finally, let's talk about government's influence. So locally, policies like the inclusionary housing program requires roughly 15 to 20% of new units to be affordable. At the state level, California Department of Housing and Community Development mandates that San Francisco plans for 82,000 new homes by 2031.
Now we will see the main actions that have been taken to ensure a healthy and sustainable housing market in San Francisco. Our plan will be divided into 4 main strategies. The first one is the land use and zoning strategy, which aims to allow more housing in more areas, ending single-family zoning and permitting the construction of new buildings and apartments, and also focusing new construction near public transport. The second one is the funding strategy, which increases public and private investment through subsidies, partnerships, and tax incentives to support affordable housing. The third one is the cost reduction strategy, which makes construction cheaper and faster by simplifying permits, using modular or prefabricated methods, and allowing ADUs. Finally, the community stabilization strategy protects residents by limiting rent increases, preventing evictions, and renovating old buildings instead of destroying them. Investing in housing in San Francisco can still be profitable in the long term, especially in areas affected by new zoning reforms that allow higher density, but short-term returns remain difficult given the fact that there are some high construction costs and strict regulations. As a conclusion, the housing market in San Francisco faces big challenges characterized by high costs and an inelastic demand and supply, but with those reforms, the city can look toward a more fair and sustainable housing system. Thank you.